Good morning everybody. Welcome on in to My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell. So excited that you can be here today for another primitive style Christmas project. I almost said fall. I caught myself. Yesterday we kicked off our fall decorating crafting season. We had some technical difficulties that were working against us yesterday, but I'm convinced today is a brand new day, and I hope today's project and video flow so much better than yesterday. I was so discouraged after yesterday's live video because I felt like I didn't give you all a good project from start to finish and let you all see how it all came together. And so I was disappointed, and I apologize if you were too, but things were just totally out of our control yesterday. But we're back today for part 2 of our little primitive Santa, I don't know what we want to call this little project. It's going to be a 3-parter though. So I will be back on Monday at 3 p.m. to finish this. Yesterday we had part 1, so let me show you what we made yesterday. We used a Dollar Tree dust mop. That's what this is. A Dollar Tree duster mop pad. That's what we used. And we're also going to be using that in today's project as well. It's going to be a partner piece to this whole ensemble that we're putting together in these 3 videos. But this is what we used yesterday. Let me show you what we did. If you watched it yesterday, I know you were thinking, where is she going with this? Where is she going with this? So look at our primitive, rustic, vintage, I don't know what you want to call it, Santa hat. Good morning, Miss Janine. How are you? Well, thank you all for tuning in. And let me know where you're watching from by leaving a little note below. I love to see where you all are coming in from. If you are new, let me know that as well. This was sort of a last minute happening today. So some of you may not be catching me live. You may be catching me on the replay. So if you want notifications for when I go live, there is a link for my Telegram notification channel. If you want to download the Telegram app, many of you already have it. It's just like a text service. It sends it to you. It's free for you. It's free for me. So it's a win-win. And you get a little bit of a reminder or a notification before I go live. So that link is down there below. And also, if anything were ever to go crazy cuckoo with Facebook, I'm always on YouTube as well. Not live on YouTube typically. I usually post my replays there, but if anything happened on Facebook, that's where you would find me next. But that Telegram just gives me an easy way to communicate with you guys so that you know where I'm at so we don't get lost. Good morning from Mississippi, Regina. So I love how this Santa hat turned out. So let me give you a close-up view. We used some dried oranges from a potpourri mix that I had. I did, after I signed off yesterday, I added these little pieces here. We have some pip berries, and we added some little jingle bells, and I added some moss. We even have some dried bay leaves, you guys. So it smells amazing. In addition to, we used the coffee grunge to prepare our fabric. Now, we used just plain muslin material fabric for the hat, okay? We soaked it down with a good coating of coffee grunge and just plain red craft acrylic paint, just cheapy acrylic paint, nothing fancy. And I did use the mop pads on both the bottom, so I've kind of put the little rusty bells, some little moss, put some little moss here in certain places, and a little twine string at the top. Now, when I get ready to hang this, I know this is going to sound weird and you won't understand until we all put it together on Monday at 3 o'clock Central Time. We'll put all of these pieces together. But this hat is actually probably going to be hanging upside down, sort of, on the display that we're making. So I did make the little tie kind of dangle down towards the end, put some little rusty bells on the bottom. Now, how did I get it to kind of stay this way? What you do is, if we wet it down with that coffee grunge and the paint mixture, kind of twist it and turn it a little bit the way you want it, and then lay it down. I laid it right here on my craft table overnight, let it dry, and now it has that crisp feel to it. I did put a few things inside here to kind of prop it open as it dried, so it kind of naturally stays propped open a little bit, and this kind of keeps its shape as well because I let it dry, and it kind of dries a little bit hard. It has almost sounds like paper because it kind of has that texture to it. But I think this turned out cute. So we're going to create a matching pair of mittens today, and we're not going with black or red. We're going to go with just a natural brownish tint to the mittens, and we're also going to be using one of these little dusting micro fiber pads from the Dollar Tree, so to create a little matching pair of mittens. Well, I shouldn't say matching, let's just say coordinating, because they're not going to be exactly the same. And for these mittens today, I'm actually going to be using just some craft paper bags, brown paper bags, to create those. And I'll show you how I'm going to do those in a little bit. But I think we need to kind of prep our little mop pad. Oh, we've got some fuzzies flying out. Let me tell you, if you use these and you get fuzzies flying out, once you're finished, treat it with a little bit of something like a spray clear sealer over top, and that'll kind of help hold some of those fuzzies in place. You could also use some hairspray or some Krylon brand, just clear sealer, and that sometimes will help hold those fuzzies together. But I will tell you, on this one from yesterday, we did this treatment too. I didn't have to spray it because once you use that coffee grunge mix on it, it kind of helped hold it together as well. So we didn't have to do anything like that. But I just think that is too cute. So I had to show you how that actually turned out yesterday. It wasn't a complete disaster. All right, so what I'm going to do for today, I'm going to use my coffee grunge, of course. Now, you see, I pulled this out. I did not put it in my fridge last night. So you have to put it in your fridge, but it's still settled. Do you see that settlement at the bottom? I've had many of you message me about the coffee grunge. You think, I did something wrong. Tell me what I did wrong. It's goopy. It feels like slime. That's okay. It's supposed to actually feel that way. But I usually recommend to heat it up once you pull it out from your fridge. Get it a little bit of warmth to it and then shake it up. And that helps all of that good, yummy cinnamon settlement that's at the bottom. It kind of redistributes it back through your mixture. Now, it still will have a little bit of a sliminess to it, but that's the great thing about this coffee grunge is because it helps it stick. It helps it adhere. It helps it grab on to whatever surface you're applying it to. So I want to make sure that you guys know that it's actually supposed to be that way. Good morning, Miss Patricia. How are you? Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you all love these. Good morning, Miss Gail. Oh, I appreciate you. You are so sweet. I appreciate your comments. So I did not bring my paper towels to the table today because I was going to show you my method that I did yesterday with applying this coffee grunge. But that's okay. We're going to improvise. There's a way around everything. All right, so I'm going to take just a chippy, cheap brush. Now, you see, when I shake it up, it has all those bubbles and the foam at the top. Don't be alarmed. It's okay. Oh, Carol. Well, I tell you, the project wasn't a disaster, but my video was a disaster yesterday because we had to stop and start twice. So we had 3 videos that we attempted to go live yesterday. And by the time we got to the 3rd video, I was already short on time because usually when I go live, I do it in a 45-minute time frame because usually I'm always like as a co-host, like presenting over in the Craft on the Clock group, and we do those on 45-minute segments. And another crafter was scheduled to come up live next, following me, and I didn't want to run into her time slot. So I signed off yesterday thinking, oh, geez, that was just a disaster. So I had to redeem myself with the project, and I thought, I've got to show them what was what I was imagining in my mind. I want to show them that it's really going to turn out, as I had planned. So I worked for probably another 45 minutes after I signed off yesterday, just, kind of tweaking that and getting it where I wanted it to be and how I wanted it to look so that I could show you guys this morning on today's live. So anyway, I know that you all totally understand, and it's a lot of times not anything us as video creators can do to help it, but boy, is it frustrating. It's so frustrating. But so far so good this morning. It looks like we're doing good. I don't want to jinx it. Thank you, Miss Chrissy. Hey, Sally. First time watcher. We have a first time watcher. Well, welcome, Megan. How are you? Welcome. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I am here in West Kentucky, near Owensboro, if you're familiar. I had an alarm come on my phone, and I forgot that I had set it. Oh, goodness. Never a dull moment around here, I tell you. All right, so I have just kind of taken my brush and I've draped it across just dabbled it across the front of that. That's all I'm going to do for right now. But then I'm going to take a paper towel. I do have one paper towel left on my table from yesterday. And I'm just going to use that to kind of smudge that coffee grunge around. And once I do this, this is going to kind of help it soak in and kind of make the rest of it look grungy without it being so dark. If I were to dip this straight in coffee grunge or coffee stain, it would probably come out too dark for me. I don't want it to look brown. I still do want it to have some of that creamy look to it, but I want it to be that warm creamy and not like stark white. Good morning, Miss Deanie. How are you, sweet friend? Will coffee grunge work in a sprayer? Molly, I've never tried it in a sprayer, but here's what I tell those that message me about that with that very same question. I would not recommend it because, like you said, when I showed you at the bottom how that sediment, I'm sorry I'm shaking the camera, you guys. My cord was against the table. That grunge, that cinnamon, how it clogs, it settles at the bottom. I think that's what it would do in your sprayer. I'm not for sure. I have never tried it. If you want to give it a try, I would just get like a real cheap sprayer and just give it a try. But I would definitely recommend shaking it up every time, before you spray it. Because even if you let it sit for 5 minutes, you already get some of that cinnamon that settles down to the bottom. And that will be what gets actually clogged in your sprayer, I would think. Okay. Now, I can pull apart this little mop pad and I can see down in the depths where it's not quite got any grunge to it. So I'm just kind of spreading it apart and taking my, I'm going to have to move this cord, you guys. I keep shaking the camera and I do not want you getting motion sick on me. Seasick, car sick, whatever you want to call it. Camera sick. But I'm just taking it and I'm dabbling it down in between those layers of that fluff. Okay. And I think that'll be good. Now, what I would do right now, I would take a dry paper towel and go over it, take a dry paper towel and just kind of dapple it, press it down on there, and that would soak up any extra, but I'm just going to let it dry as is for right now. And we'll come back to this in a minute. So let's kind of set this to the side and let it dry. The next thing we're going to do, let me get a little sheet of paper here to cover my table. Are you telling me, yes, my pupster, again, every time I go live, you guys, he thinks he's got to go out. I think he hears my excitement and he kind of hears me rushing around, getting ready at the last minute. I think he thinks I'm going somewhere. So I think a lot of times that makes him think that he's supposed to go outside before I leave, or something like that, or thinks he's supposed to go too. But we're not going anywhere, buddy. We're not going anywhere. Come over here and sit down. Come sit down. Yeah, come sit down. We're not going out. No. You can go get in your bed. He's right over here by my table. I wish he would come up here and show his face in the camera, but I don't think he'll get close enough to do that. Come here, Fox. We'll see if he will. Come here. Come here. Come over here. Oh, I gotta move the Santa hat. All right, come here. Oh, he's gonna get tangled in our cord. Oh, you see him? There we go. Say hi, Pongo. Hi, Pongo. This is my boy. He is my boy. He's always in my shadows, no matter where I'm at in the house. He is about 2 steps behind me. That's where he's at. You go get in your bed. Go get in your bed. He is such a good dog. All right, now I have some brown paper sacks, gift bags. You could use regular craft paper. You could use lunch bags. This is just what I have, and I need to use them up. I've had them forever, and I just need to use them up. Thank you, Miss Monica. Yeah, he made his little show, his 5 minutes of show. Usually he doesn't like to get right up here. Well, usually he'll sit right under my table, right at my feet, while I'm on live. Good morning, Miss Dawn. Thank you, Miss Carol. All right, so this is just a brown paper sack, and I'm going to use these to cut out some mittens. I think this will be about a good size for mittens. These are just little gift bags, okay? Cheapy. I forgot where I got those, but like at a bargain store. Like they weren't expensive at all. Now, if you have paper lunch bags, you could totally do that. I'm taking it and I'm rolling it up into a ball. We have almost 300 on. Valerie, he is a border collie. Yes, he is extremely intelligent. I can talk to him just like a human, and he knows exactly what I'm saying. And even if I'm not talking to him, if he picks up on what I'm talking about, you know, to my kids or whoever in the house, if he knows something that I'm saying, he clues in, and he knows what's going on. Extremely smart. Good morning, Miss Connie. How are you? Christina from Christina's Rustic Creations. Thank you all for hopping on this morning. I'm just giving this a good crumple, and I would do this twice, okay? I'm only going to show one mitten on live today, but when I sign off, I'm going to go ahead and create a set of a set of these, which would be 2 mittens. And then I'll show you how I'm going to put them together. Then Monday at 3 o'clock Central Time, I'm coming back to pull all of these pieces together to make a beautiful display piece. Like, I think you're going to love it. I think you're really going to love it. So tune in on Monday, 3 p.m. for the finale of this little set, if you will. It will be a beautiful, beautiful piece. A substantial piece, by the way, as well. Now, I'm just going to pour some Mod Podge in a little container here because I'm going to treat this paper with Mod Podge. I am going to put a little bit of coffee, instant coffee, into my Mod Podge. Yeah, about got my words twisted. All right, just a little bit. I don't know how much I'm going to need, but we'll see. We'll start there. Oh, I got a hair tickling my nose. Okay, see what we got going on right there? Just a little bit of Mod Podge with the instant coffee. Let's stir that up. And now we know that Mod Podge dries clear, right? Which is fine. I want the Mod Podge on there to give this paper like more of a stiffness to it, okay, durability wise. Good morning, Miss Kelly from Chestnut Junction. How are you, friend? So as you can see, I've put that coffee in there, and it's going to, this coffee is going to tint my Mod Podge, and it's going to make it like an antique version of Mod Podge, if you will, okay? It's just going to be able to give it a little bit more of a coloration to it, which this brown paper, I mean, it already has kind of a vintage vibe to it anyway. This will just kind of help add some more color to it, okay? So this is what we're going with. You know what? I think I should cut out my mitten shape first. And then that way I won't Mod Podge the whole bag, because I'd have a lot of wasted Mod Podge, if you will. And I'm just eyeballing it, guys. If you want a pattern, you can go online, go to Google and search a mitten tracing pattern, okay? You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's just a pointer if you want to. That's the shape that I have right now, okay? I am cutting both sides of this because I need a front and a back, obviously. Now let's cut a little thumb piece out. And, well, uh-oh, my pieces weren't folded together real well. That may cause a problem. We'll see. We'll see. It's just paper bags, so if we mess it up, we could start another one, right? Nothing terribly awful here. So let me just kind of match these up and see how far off we are. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, so I want the sides that I want sticking out. This is the sides, the right sides. This is the side that I want to treat with my Mod Podge and the instant coffee. Now that instant coffee will dissolve and leave little clumps. Sometimes it'll have a few clumps in there, and that's okay. Some of it will dissolve, some of it will leave a little bit of clumping, and that's good. I like that. In fact, that's part of the technique that I use when I make grubby jars. Not grungy, but grubby. Grubby has more texture to it than grunge. Grunge has the smell and the look, but grubby has the smell and the look with the added texture to it. So that's a lot of what I do when I grub up jars. All right, now I'm going to kind of wipe off a lot of the excess. You're not going to be able to tell a whole lot that coffee is in there, but it is pulling a little bit of streaking in it. So while this is still wet, I am going to sprinkle it with some cinnamon. And if you want to, you could even sprinkle it with a little bit more of the instant coffee while it's still really wet. I'm trying not to make mine super wet because I do want mine to dry a little bit while I'm on video so that I can kind of put it together for you. I'm going to sprinkle it, and I'm crumbling this instant coffee, you guys. I'm crumbling it so that it's more powdery, and that will help it kind of dissolve as a little bit quicker into your Mod Podge, especially if you're doing a thin layer of Mod Podge, because it will soak up that moisture from the Mod Podge and help it dissolve. And we'll go from there. Okay, now if you want to go ahead, oh, chin, scratchy, scratchy. If you want to go ahead and add some cinnamon, I am currently out of cinnamon, so I'm going to the next best option, pumpkin pie spice. So I've got to go and stock up on my cinnamon today. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this on there. I thought I might actually give this pumpkin pie spice a try to see if I like it in my coffee grunge mix. I did try it. It smells amazing, but I don't think the smell quite compares to just the regular cinnamon, vanilla, and coffee mix. I much more prefer just the plain cinnamon. I know that's crazy. I thought I would actually like the pumpkin pie spice better because it has nutmeg and allspice and clove. And I love the smell of it just when I smell it like this, but in the coffee grunge mix, it's just not quite as potent. So, anyway. It's there for that information. I know y'all probably didn't care about that, but if you are a big coffee grunger and you want to try it, you know, your preference might be a little bit better. Hey, Miss Beverly, it's Tammy. I'm going to check comments while I'm drying a little bit. Tracing an oven. Oh, that's a great idea, Julie. I didn't even think about that. Yes, tracing an oven mitt. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect idea. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, Miss Gina had the same idea. That's awesome. Hello, Miss Grace from the Comfy Nest with Grace. She was just on a few minutes ago over in the Craft on the Clock group. If you are not familiar with the Craft on the Clock group, guys, I encourage you to check it out. We have some super amazing, talented creators that work in that group to bring you inspiration on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, early morning till late at night. We have crafters and creators, artists, very talented painters, going live over there in that group that you can watch it. So if you're like me, and I would much rather watch something that interests me than turn on my TV and just have it on just to have it on because I don't really watch TV that much. I turn on Facebook and I'll just kind of let it go, and I go to the Craft on the Clock group and I hang out there all day. But of course, I'm in Craft on the Clock group all day every day anyway because I am the admin over there in that group. So I'm even in there more probably than most everyone else, but I enjoy that group so much, you guys. We have some of the best creators over there. Oh my gosh, if you all could smell this right now, it smells amazing. Cheese Crafty Ranch, hello from Texas. Looks like you all are getting some rain today. That's awesome. Good morning from California, Tony. Eva from Kentucky. Now, I've never heard of that city in Kentucky. Ghent. Let me know if that north, south, east, west, what part of Kentucky is that in? Must not be in the western part. I don't think I've heard of that. Let me know. That's interesting. I always love to see if you all are from, where you all are from. Watching from Florida, just Geraldine. Hope you have a wonderful day as well. Bonnie, how often do I go live? I typically go live once a week, sometimes twice. It just depends. And rarely on a weekend, you'll catch me in an event on the weekend. Not very often, though. Let's see. You have an Australian Shepherd who is often mistaken for a Border Collie, but bigger. Yes, you're right. Who said that? Penny. Yes, Australian Shepherds and Border Collies are very much similar. In fact, my kids sometimes have a tough time distinguishing them apart. I always look for the tail. If their tails are docked and short, then I know it's an Australian Shepherd, right? Border Collies keep the long tail, but they are very, very close breeds. New follower, Helen. Welcome from Maine. I'm so excited that you are here. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom. There we are. Miss Iona from Ontario, Canada. That's awesome. New from Arizona. Welcome, Kathy. Good morning, Miss Lena from West Virginia. So excited y'all are here. I see Nevada. Welcome. North Carolina. Oh my goodness, we have them all over. Now this, if you want to speed this up, you guys, you can lay this on this parchment paper just like so, and put it on a cookie sheet. Okay, I showed you how to do that with baking some fabric yesterday. You could do the same process on a very low temp oven, like 200 degree oven. Put it in there for about 5 minutes, and then you can flip it over in about 5 minutes and let it just continue to dry. But you got to keep a close eye on it. Okay, close eye. All right, I think this will probably be good. We can kind of let it finish doing its thing. All right, let's set that dryer. Let's set it over here. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to try to see if I can't use this mop pad to create 2 mittens, okay? So what I'm thinking I'm going to fold this in half lengthwise, right? And then I'm going to cut it in half this way. So this would be a piece for a mitten, and this would be another piece for a mitten. We shall see how that works. We'll see. Now this is still a little damp, so ideally you would probably want to let it dry a little bit more, but we're going to speed it along, okay? Now really there's no way for me to really exactly separate the little fibers, the little strings of this. Here, let's fold this in half because I don't want a lopsided piece here. Fold it in half, and then we'll just go for it like this. Let me see if I can separate this up. I'm not sure if I have the best scissors to cut through this. This is pretty thick. We'll see. Yeah, actually it's not too bad at all. Okay, now when you do this, you will lose some clumps, you know, because some of those clumps that were attached to the actual mat itself, they kind of lose their placement when you do that. So kind of go through and kind of pluck any loose clumps that you see, okay? And of course my hands are still sticky. But I'm going to pull those and put those over to the side. All right, now I probably would need to go ahead and put a little bit more of that grunge back on the edge of this, since I've cut into it. You can see how white it is in those spots. So what I will do is I'll take this paper towel, let me dapple it a little bit more, wet it a little bit more I should say, and kind of just rub, and that will kind of help soften that super bright white that we have going on there. And I'm kind of going to do this on this edge too. Even though we didn't cut on that edge, I see some white now that I don't want so bright. So we're just toning it down. And not to mention, this is going to make it smell amazing. Amazing. My husband was sitting on the couch last night and goes, I smell coffee. Are you making coffee? I was like, I never drink coffee. I said, but I know what you're smelling. I know what you're smelling. He's a coffee drinker. Not me. I love the smell of coffee, but I don't like the flavor. Okay. All right, so I've cut that dusting mop pad in half. I have a couple little strands here that have kind of gone haywire. So I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. And then this, we're going to take this and we're going to actually glue this together like so. All right, so let's use some hot glue and we will do that. Let's see, make sure I have this matched up good. Where's my glue sticks? I need to add another glue stick because I know it's going to run out on me here in just a second. Okay. I'm not going to go super heavy with the glue because I don't want like huge, like bulky looking little streaks. You know how hot glue will do if you're working with a real thin material or paper even, that hot glue wants to kind of bulk up on you. So I'm going to kind of smear it out a little bit. Maybe. Let's get this glue stick going. Kind of has a time when you transitioning between an old stick and a new one, it kind of wants to sputter on me. All right. Now I do have a little bit of excess around the top and the sides that I'm probably going to have to trim off because I didn't quite cut these pieces to match. So we'll do that in just a little bit. And then I will use this one as my pattern to cut my second mitten. That way they'll be matching. They'll look like a good matching pair. Come on. There we go. Obviously, I'm not going to glue around the bottom. Okay, there we go. All right, now I see I have a little bit of an overhang on the sides. I'm just going to go around and trim that off really quick because I don't want that overhang to show. I'm okay if I have some tattered edges. I like that look anyway. And but I just want to make sure that I don't have any overhang showing. Okay. Now, what you can totally do at this point is you can take a little bit of polyfill and stuff this little mitten. I see a little spot where I missed up here. And that'll also help show you if you missed a spot with glue. Let me get that sealed up right there. And then just take a little bit of some polyfill or whatever. You could even use stuffing from an old polo. You could use some little plastic sacks. I don't know, whatever you have available, just as filling, because it's really not going to show a whole lot, you guys. All right, so I'm just taking a little bit. I don't want them to be super filled because that would make it too puffy, and I don't want puffy mittens. I just want to give it a little bit of just a little bit of puffiness, let's say that. I can't think of another word to really describe it, you guys. All right, and then I'll put a little bit down in the thumb, maybe. I need a little pencil or something. I'm afraid my scissors are going to poke through that paper very carefully. And that'll just help give it a little bit more shape, okay? See another little spot that I missed with glue, looks like. This would be a cute project for the kids, you guys. If you want some kids to help you out with this, this would be a simple project that they could even do. Well, it looks like I missed several little spots. Or maybe when I went in and trimmed, I didn't get as close to the edge with my glue as I thought I did. Maybe I went too close to the edge when I trimmed, maybe. All right, squeeze that together, and if you have any excess glue, just dapple that, pull that off. All right, pinch that together. Glue strings off. Okay, so here we go. We have a little mitten. Okay, it does have a little bit of shine to it, even though I used the matte Mod Podge, but that's okay. If you want to, even later, you can go back and dust it with a little bit more cinnamon, and that'll kind of help give you more of a softer look to it where it won't be so shiny. Okay, all right. I got hot glue all over my fingers. I think I'm going to let this side be the front. Pull off this hot glue string that's shining on the front. Okay, we're going to take this. We're going to glue it on the front. Let's just do this. I want to make sure this hot glue goes on the actual mop pad part itself. Because if I put it on those little fuzzies, you're not going to get good stick to it. All right, so I'm actually going to do this number right here. I'm just going to do it like that. And then I'll see how much more glue I need right there. And then I'll do the same. I'll just do the same right here, and I'll fold it over. And we'll get a look-see and see what we think. All right. Oh, this is cute. Okay, let me trim that off, that piece. Oh, these are cute. Okay. Now, I am going to have to go through on the sides and kind of seal up the sides of this mop pad. So I see a little opening right there. Let's go on this side and do the same thing. If you get that glue on that mop pad instead of the little stringies, you're doing good. That is cute. Oh my, that is really cute. Now my lights are really glaring off of it, but of course you wouldn't have such bright lights shining on yours. I see a little spot where I missed a little bit with some Mod Podge on there, but isn't that cute? We've got a few little fuzzies I can see we need to trim. Now you could totally embellish these. And any way you want with a little bell, which is thinking what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to put maybe 1 or 2 little bells. And yesterday, what I did, I like to use just a little bit of some moss, you guys. I don't know what kind of moss this is. I like the green moss, but this is almost a little too green. I would like it a little bit darker and dull. So what I did yesterday when I did these, actually I glued some clumps of this on, and then I actually put a little bit of coffee grunge, or you could even dapple it with a little bit of this Mod Podge and the coffee, and that would kind of give you a little bit duller appearance as well. So let's see here. I think I'm going to put a little bell and some moss, yeah, right up here on this little mop pad part. So what I'm going to do to glue in my bell, I have to reach down in there. Let me show you this. If you reach down in there, you will get a little area of where the mop pad is. That's where you want to glue your bell to. Okay, if you just put glue on it and stick it on there, it's going to hang awkwardly. It's not going to look as cute because it's going to be attached to those strings instead of the actual mop pad. So put you a good amount of glue on there. You could even put glue right down there on that little mop pad if you wanted to. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my fingers from the back side and I'm going to press that together. Okay, see, I'm putting pressure from the back. That makes sure that it gets good stickability, if you will, to that actual mop pad, and that'll hold it in place much better. And that's what I did on the Santa hat yesterday. And if you came on and you missed where I showed the finished Santa hat, you guys, I'll show that again here in just a minute. But I'm going to create 2 of these little mittens to go along with my Santa hat. And then I'm going to show you on Monday at 3 o'clock Central Time, I'm going to show you how I'm going to put all of these pieces together. We've got one more little piece to kind of make to go along with it. It's going to be a little, I don't know if I want to tell you. It's going to be a little banner. It's going to be a little bit of a vintage looking little banner, if you will. I don't know another quite word that sounds right to describe it, but a little banner that'll go along with it. And we're using Barnwood. We're going to be using actual Barnwood from the family farm to put this together. I can't wait to show you guys. I really do think it's going to turn out cute. And I did get some inspiration for this project from a designer on Etsy, you guys. So you never know when or when you see things, or when you're looking, when things will strike you and think, oh my gosh, you know, they make you think of things that I would have never thought of before. So use this as an idea, and even if you don't want to put this together exactly the way I am, when I put it together on Monday, maybe this will serve as inspiration for you just to get a different idea. I love doing that kind of thing. So I put a little bit of moss right down here on the mitten. I like carrying that green and that brown down across that. Now, should I do both sides? Probably so, because I don't know how, let's see. When I hang them, I don't think both sides are going to be visible, though. I really don't. I think it's just going to be a one-side thing here. And if you want to add a smaller bell or a little pine cone, yesterday we used some dried naturals. I have some little tiny pine cones. I'm thinking about putting one of those right up here by my bell, just so that the bell's not standing up there all by itself with that moss. Just a little bit of extra brown. And I like how these brown tones kind of repeat. The brown from up here repeats up here with the pine cone and the berry. I like using the same color themes when I put things together, and it just kind of helps it all kind of connect in some way. I do have a little pipberry strand. I don't know. I don't think that quite goes. We could possibly, I have a little strand of, I used a little black homespun checked bow on my Santa hat. So this would kind of coordinate it if I added something like this, but I don't want them to be totally matchy-matchy. No, I don't like that. That takes away from it. So let's look at these pieces together. Let me grab this Santa hat that we tossed over a second ago. Here's the Santa hat. Let me clear off this moss right here. Here's the Santa hat. And here is the mitten. Okay, now don't those look so cute together? They look a darling. So when we hang these and we put these all together, I'm going to make another mitten to go with this set. I'm going to put them together. We're going to create a banner. We're going to use some Christmas greenery and some Barnwood. I'm going to show you how to put these together to make a super cute display piece that I think would look really cute on, I mean, even if you wanted to, you could create this. I'm sorry guys, I have something like stuck to my face. I think it's a glue string. You could create a really pretty door hanger with this. I think the piece that I'm going to make would look darling on as a door hanger. So you'll see how we put it together on Monday. Come back on Monday at 3 p.m. Central. I'm going to show you how to put it all together. We do have another creator coming up live in about 4 minutes over in the Craft on the Clock group. I want you all to go check it out. If you've never heard of that group before, let me know, because I need to let you know where to find it. So you all have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for your grace on yesterday's episode. Whew, that was a technological nightmare. But we trudged through, and thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Miss Chrissy. I love them. Can't wait to see the display, Rachel. I can't either. I'm so excited. I'm getting my barn piece ready. I've got some rusty nails that we're going to be using. Oh, lots of good grungy goodness. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.